Hello and welcome to the VR Untethered podcast, your weekly source of VR Untethered podcast.
Virtually your only source of
Yeah.
virtually untethered podcast.
So, we have Brad and I'm Josh, and together we don't fight crime. So,
Used to, but it turned out to be a painful and non-rewarding experience, I think.
yeah. I have some real life issues going on that we need to rush through things just a little bit. We're going to try to do justice to everything, but our normal rambling intro is going to be a little bit shorter. So,
like it ended right there. And getting
so,
to...
right. So, in brief, what were your highlights of the week, Brad?
My highlights of the week were realizing that XRspace now had some really cool new drawings, and leads me to believe that Danny is going to produce some very exciting coloring books, because now he's doing something in collaboration with Rosie, it looks like, and
That's impressive.
Right, so now we have two really talented artists working together from two different,
Right.
ends of the spectrum. It'll be
Right.
interesting to see what they can produce.
Right.
So that was pretty much my highlight. As far as gameplay and everything, nothing really new was released that caught my interest right off the bat this week. I could sort of wait to get into those. The only one that did interest me was the Line,
Right.
but it seemed like a worthwhile short experience. But as one of our Discord members had said, when he's in the mood for a love story, he'll watch it. And I think that's a perfect sentiment.
Yeah. Yeah. I watched it on YouTube because although I was sure it was well done and all that, I wasn't sure that it was worth the price tag for like 11 minutes or whatever. That
Right.
like you know.
I know it's almost like
I have never really been heavily into reading the comic books because it's like $3 for a 1 minute read. I'm like $2 more, I can get a 300-page book.
right. Most people will pay that money to not have to read that amount, Josh. So you're in the minority.
You know what I mean?
I do. I
I'm
do.
like,
Very
I get
much
a
so.
full story instead of just 2 days worth of the story. You
Right.
know?
But it's that artwork. It's the artwork you're paying for,
Right.
so that you
Right.
can not have to use your imagination like an author would intend. You can
Right.
use the artist's imagination.
Yeah. I always prefer the longer experiences to the
I
short.
do as well.
It feels like I'm getting more for my money.
But I agree.
So,
Ken.
but I did watch it, and it is very well done. It's a good story. It's well told. It's got some interactive elements, even though they are very limited. They're not like you're doing a lot of. You're
Right.
just every now and then going, okay, they go to the next part, basically.
Exactly. It's an interface more.
Right. So, anyways,
And I couldn't play Gloomy Eyes. I just wanted to make that point. I couldn't play Gloomy Eyes because it would be tough to go back to Arizona Sunshine and all of my zombie killing games if I watched Gloomy Eyes, so I refuse.
The sympathy for the zombies.
Yeah, exactly. I just can't do it. I don't want to have to deal with any guilt over killing zombies.
Right. So, my highlights of the week, I had a few, but I'm going to just sum up and say the SpaceX launch yesterday was my actual highlight of the week. It's especially because my son, my 8-year-old, was so enthralled by it that he had to get onto Roblox and do a game called Rocket Tester, where he has a Falcon 9 rocket, and he managed to do a perfectly timed co-launch with real Falcon 9 rocket.
Oh, cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
It was exciting. I have to say, I've been into the space program for my entire life, you know, and I remember the original, I don't want to say it, but the original Mercury programs. And so to me, watching the unbelievable picture quality
Mm-hmm.
was
All right.
just mind-boggling. It really, really was, you know, in
And
4K,
had
beautiful.
touch screens in the capsule instead of dials and whatnot. No, it's like I told my wife, hey, it says next generation instead of original Enterprise.
Well, I don't know because they still had just that blue screen on top,
Oh,
you know.
true. It wasn't L cars, but on the way.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I love the interior, all plastic, white, 2001. Kubrick would have loved it. They
Uh,
definitely did the Pan Am shuttle justice,
right.
and you know, it looked a whole lot cooler than the old ones. I will say that.
And a lot more spacious than the old ones too.
Oh my God, you know, you think about the old ones where they were basically sitting on each other's lap, you know, when they got up to
Party.
two. I know, and here these guys are just laying back and playing with the bars and pushing.
He has room to do a sideways backflip.
I know, but you know, I did notice that it did appear to take longer, and I found out later the thrust was less, but it did appear to be a longer time to lift off than the old Saturn rockets. But the old Saturn rockets were 9 million pounds of thrust. This was 1.5 million, so
Right.
and 1.5 million spread among 9 different Merlin rockets. So
Right.
a
Right.
difference.
So
But it
yeah,
was beautiful. It was beautiful.
yeah. It's come a long way, and congratulations to SpaceX for getting it up there and getting them up there
Yeah.
safely.
Uh,
um,
it was great. A great day.
yeah, and I also had another little highlight of the week. Tales of Glory came out on VR yesterday. It was officially released. We're recording it on Sunday today because of various things. Um, so yesterday, on Saturday, the Tales of Glory officially came out of early access and all that, and is now officially available. And they held a day-long giveaway starting at midnight in the morning Eastern time and going until like to 10 o'clock at night. He probably gave away like I don't know, 200 keys.
I joined that. I didn't get a key.
Yeah. Well, I managed to get a key.
I might be
And
the only one that didn't
what
get a
the?
key.
I actually won. What?
I know.
So I did a live stream of that on my Facebook gaming page, which is Silverfire VR Gaming. Unfortunately, I managed to not have the game audio or my mic audio working. So it's an hour of silent gameplay.
It
Charlie,
heralds back to Charlie Chaplin. I got
yeah,
that feeling.
Charlie Chaplin, Keystone Cops. Except there's not even music going, just completely silent.
I'm working for you, Josh. Just stick with me there. I'm giving you the retro aspect. Don't blow it.
So it's um, it seems like a relatively fun game. It's by no means a AAA title. If you go and look at the replay and you skipped about 33 minutes in when I go into a tavern, the people in there are like,
they're drunk. I figured it out. They're drunk. Every single one of them is completely faced. So
something like that. I'm like, I think you guys have had too much already.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I did watch your replay. I did watch that 33-minute mark, and I am firmly convinced that the key to playing the game is to get the key to play the game. I have to say, I was less than impressed by the graphics. I was impressed by the movement that you had in between locations and the inventory, and it seemed like it was well put together. It
Yeah.
just did not seem graphically immersive. It
Well,
seemed,
yeah, it's not it, it's not AAA graphics and animation, but it um, it does seem to have an element of fun. It was a little difficult to try to figure out how I could get stronger and get followers and get
right.
troops, and I haven't figured out how to get a horse yet, and so it, but eventually you do have a horse that you can ride around on, and you can command your army that way and whatnot. And so it's it's got elements, and supposedly it has a voice command option where you can vocally command your troops instead of pointing at them and going, "Okay, advance." Yeah. So,
Did
but
you ever play
I haven't
Rome?
looked out yet. I'm sorry, what?
Did you ever play the game Rome on Xbox?
No.
Okay.
I,
Ro- They advertised Rome as having voice commands, and you were able to actually say forward,
mhm.
at which point you would keep pressing the button so that they would actually move forward.
So I'm also hampered by the fact that I'm doing this on Shadow, so the microphone may not actually be connecting to the Windows 10 the voice recognition stuff, which is evidently what they are using.
Okay.
They're using Cortana, so basically.
Because Cortana has just been so popular with just
Yeah.
every.
So, anyways, moving on to the new releases. We
Please.
have Putt, the Line and Gloomy Eyes. We already spoke about the Line and Gloomy Eyes some. Those both are well received, but short. So Gloomy Eyes is a lot longer than the Line, but it's still not pushing you past the refund window. So
Right.
yeah, ProPutt has something I have a video on my channel of from an earlier wave of the beta, and it's a fun mini golf game with an attempt at a realistic feel for the golf club and all that. So, and it's pretty fun. It works well. And I think that if you are into mini golf games at all, in VR especially, it's worth the money. It's a well done game.
Yeah.
And it's got multiplayer. It's got three areas right now. I think they are like 9 holes apiece or something like that. And it's the different environments. One is like just a standard greenery area environment. Another is a desert-like environment, etc. So
Right. I heard there's like a forest and a beach, and
right, right,
so.
and it is multiplayer. Unlike Cloudlands, right now it doesn't have a level editor, I believe, but that may be coming in that future update. I don't know. So
Okay. Yeah, Put seemed, of the people that we know that have played it, seem to be enjoying it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's a fun game, and mini golf is almost always a fun time.
so let me ask, did the golf club feel like the physics of the golf club? Do you have to bend down and act like you're playing mini golf in order to get the swing right, or is it just in
Well,
line and pushing a button?
you do have to stand like you got an actual golf club in your hand and whatnot, but you can adjust the angle and the grip and whatnot. So if you don't want that more complete realism of having to be down sort of like that, and
Okay.
you can adjust it for various. Have to get exactly all the adjustments that I think that you could almost have had it so that you're just here and the golf club is going to down like that. I don't know if that's quite true or not, but I know like the different angles of attachment to your hand.
Okay.
So moving on to new releases or to upcoming releases. Moving away from new releases, upcoming releases. I don't know
Me neither.
if there's anything coming out on Thursday or not. We have been surprised by a few things lately, so there may not be. I don't know.
I don't know, especially considering that a lot of companies are now holding back. Like I know Android announced that because of everything, they're not going to release the beta of Android 11 right now, which was supposed to happen last week, basically. So there are things that are delayed that were coming. So things that were coming soon might not be, or then again, they might be coming sooner. I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah. So now you know as much as we know.
I know. Isn't it kind of strange that there's no like hype for anything coming this week? And
right. So that just means that it's time to move on to no good news is good news.
Da-da-da-da-da.
In VR news, VR Jam 2020 just ended. I didn't know that it was going on. I saw a tweet about it, and the various the miniature VR titles that were made as a result of it.
Right.
That's what you can do in a game jam. Really, is a mini title. They can't do a full-fledged game.
But yeah, I didn't know it was going on either. They didn't really make a big deal of it this year, or it got buried in all the other events that were going on.
Yes, but it's always encouraging to see that even during all of this, the game jams are still going on. VR specific game jams are going on. People are still working on learning and on improving what they already know about how to make good games, especially in VR. So that's always a good thing.
And as the magazines are saying, the Quest is still maddeningly out of stock.
Yeah, it was in stock briefly a few days ago, but that never lasts long.
No, really. It's like an hour. You have a decision to make now. Captain, you must give the order now. It's like push the button or don't.
Avoid iceberg or crash into it. Too late.
Exactly. There is no forgiveness in the buying a Quest right now. And it's the most in-demand headset, even though others are being announced with advanced features, but still nothing that quite meets up to the Quest, which is kind of weird. But
in other news, we have Qualcomm's Wi-Fi 6E chips announcements that are coming out and are projected to be even more low latency than other things are. So they're kind of exciting news.
Right. Well, they're specifically being designed for 5G to be enhanced to the level that AR and VR are accessed at the speed that they need to be.
Right, and they I got the report up here. So Qualcomm is announcing the Fast Connect 6900 and 6700 device-ready wireless systems that include both Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.2 for maximum wireless performance and power efficiency. 6700 offers a peak Wi-Fi speed of 3 gigabits per second. That's kind of insane. The higher end, 6900, tops out at 3.6 gigabits per second, using 4-stream dual band simultaneous transmitting and 6 gigahertz multi-band capability.
Exciting.
I'm not sure there are any routers out on the market right now that do 6 gigahertz. So
Nothing. No, there is none.
so
And good luck with 5G. But good, you know.
yeah. And Qualcomm has promising under 3 millisecond latency. So that's
It's beautiful.
if you're doing a physical VR capable computer and virtual desktop that you connect it, that's like about the same, if not maybe a little bit faster than an cable.
Exactly. It's incredible. At that point, it does just become instantaneous VR and
Right.
AR.
Right.
And we've achieved liftoff, you know.
Right. And that would even help with my setup with Shadow, because that would reduce my Wi-Fi latency just a little bit more, so that there's only effectively the network latency. So instead of 16 milliseconds latency, I'll have like 13 or 10 or
Right.
something.
Any gain is something.
Right.
Especially some of the games we play where 2 milliseconds could make the difference in.
Right. So it's something I am looking forward to. I don't know when exactly it's going to be out, what devices it's going to be in.
It is geared towards AR right now.
The Quest 1.5, but it's probably not, because that's probably already set. But it might maybe be in the Quest 2. Maybe.
Or the Apple Glass One.
Right.
Which
So
I know I've seen, as we're talking about news.
Casper is going to improve all this stuff and make it a more stable experience in theory. So any improvement is welcome.
Well, the other thing that you really sort of glossed over was that Bluetooth enhancement seems to be really nice towards a wireless connection with your phone. Or
mentioned in the article, other than it's there, so I don't know the details on that. So,
but it still means that they're working on getting Bluetooth to be an effective means of transmission, so that wire can disappear.
It helped me out a lot, because then I could use these with the Quest.
Yes, I understand.
Headset.
I hate this wire, but they sound okay. But at this point, I'm so much more used to my wireless buds.
Yeah, and I mean, I have a pair of these hooked up to my Quest, but I have the cord like coiled up in the middle so that it's not too long. So that's coming out of like here, and then they're coiled up there, and then they're connected.
Right.
They're still dangling down to like about right here.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy. That is probably the weakest. If I had to name one thing that's the weakest on the Quest, it's the way that they utilize sound. It was.
Yeah, I had another pair of headsets that I made the mistake of not shortening the cable. I was playing the Thrill of the Fight, ripped the 3.5 millimeter jack there. It was left in the port, and the cord was out here.
Yeah, I could see that. That happens to me with my external battery.
Yeah.
Man, I hate wires, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, they are necessary, but yeah. In other news, the Wall Street Journal had an article about the coronavirus pandemic brings new use cases for augmented reality.
Who would have thought?
Up right now, but the very fact that it's making mainstream news media, that's him. So I count that win.
No
You know?
publicity is bad publicity.
Yeah. Um,
It's just that they sort of conflate virtual and digital and computer, and so you do have to. But yes, they have realized that VR is not dead and has possibilities,
right.
which is very good of them.
Yes, it is very good. Here we are. I got the article here. It has an example. I mentioned in the sub-headline of the article, an Israeli medical center is using HoloLens to help teach healthcare workers how to operate ventilators.
Makes
That's
sense.
Sheba Medical Center, which is, that's a very important and helpful way to use AR. Because it just superimposes exactly where you need to put things.
Right. Once again, nothing different than what Musk was doing with teaching people how to do, putting together manufacturing parts of his,
Right.
So yes, there are tech companies that have done this, but it seems to be now being broadly accepted, and more companies are willing to accept the fact that VR is probably a very good means. I know that we have on the list to discuss what's going on in Japan, and I don't know if that's stepping on this conversation or not, but just the fact that they're...
Hospital, it's one we can save it until then because we have a humorous news article.
Okay, let's...
thing coming up next.
Let's brighten everyone's day.
So, as a result of another Half-Life Alyx reveal thing, liquid shaders are taking over Twitter. People are turning their VR hands transparent and filling them with liquid that responds to turning upside down, tilting, sloshing, shaking, and all realistic looking the liquid effects.
Right, I know, but the mana pool is great. I think the idea of being able to see your mana actually as a liquid in your hands, that's a great use of it. Yeah. I love that.
That actually kind of reminds me of a book series that I read where the magic users would every morning they would have to lift their, I think it was the right hand if they were a guy, and to put it into the sunlight, and their hand would basically stick away and then to be replaced by a hand that had magical power in it. It should be filled with magical power. It had different color and all that, and that could be a cool thing to have in a VR game. Break up, watch it fill up with the color, and then as you use it, watch it to deplete.
Right. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And also change color depending on the spell you're going to use. It can give you a lot of information, as opposed to the gauges and everything else that don't belong in a game.
Right.
To be able to incorporate that right into your hand is fantastic.
Right.
As well as other parts. They could start using that liquid shader in your enemy as well to watch his health, and all of a sudden we're all just watermen playing ice games.
Something like that. Now, on to the Japan news. A Tokyo hospital is live streaming surgeries in virtual reality, and I got that article off of Futurism, and it's not. There we go. Pull up the article here, and while I've got it pulling up, what were you going to say about?
Oh, just the very fact that they are, I'm sure it's not on NBC or their equivalent of NBC. I'm sure it's for medical students. And just the fact that they're able to now be able to take these surgeries and show them to people that don't have to crowd around in the operating theater. They're actually going to be seeing it close up without opera glasses.
Right.
And be able to feel like they're participating in the surgery, so that when it does come time, it's not something they've observed, it's something they've participated in. So I think that that's a great idea, really.
Yeah. I got the article pulled up now, and what they are doing is at Tokyo Women's Medical University, which is known for experimenting with medical robots and AI algorithms. Surgeons are now performing operations under the watchful eye of a giant 8K virtual reality camera. That way, medical students who can't personally attend classes due to medical concerns can put on a VR headset and tune in from home, which is very cool. But there is one downside that is mentioned by the article. The VR camera is hanging overhead, so it's not the same perspective as the surgeon.
Okay.
But supposedly, it gives a better view than if they were peering over the surgeon's shoulder or watching from in the surgical theater.
Exactly.
And yeah, and what I was going to mention is way back when, in the Gear VR days, even there was an app that had to basically walk along. There was a 360-degree camera that was right next to the surgeon while he performed. I think it was a knee replacement, the surgery, in the Gear VR. And, it didn't have to be a medical student to access it, but it was obviously aimed at, a medical trainee. And I remember you watching it and doing, still being there, and they're going, yeah, I could definitely see how this would be much more preferable to having 2 or 3 students there in the room with them, and all the other 50 up in the surgical theater going, yeah.
Exactly. Exactly what I said before you read the article.
Yeah.
It was pretty easy to see where it was going to go. So it's beautiful to see things like this happening, especially as other things are falling apart. It's just nice to see tech going in a direction that's going to advance us, which is really good. And the other thing that they're not mentioning is the fact that these students are immersed when they watch it. It's not like they're distracted the way that they show you the way people were doing robotic surgery from their tablet or their computer from miles away. Now they'll actually be wearing a headset, and there is no distraction of the beautiful sunset or anything else. You'll be able to do what you're supposed to,
Right. No distraction of your fellow student that you have a crush on or whatever.
Exactly.
Occupying the exact same virtual space.
Right. Regrab. The surgeon behind you comes in for the save.
Yeah. So, moving on from that, as exciting as it is, Hacker Noon had an article about how global quarantine popularized virtual social platforms. So, distance socializing is becoming the new norm. With the outbreak spreading across the globe, people on all continents are isolating themselves. In the meantime, basic social needs don't disappear. Blah, blah, blah. Just recently, Fortnite, not really a virtual reality thing, but they held the virtual concerts with in-game live the concerts that performed.
Mm-hmm.
It had like 12 million concurrent viewers of it. And a San Diego-based English teacher, I guess, at Otay Ranch Academy for the Arts, went viral with his I guess math teacher. I'm sorry, English vocabulary review lesson held in half-life hours, drawing on the window at that opening scene.
People are desperate for entertainment,
Yeah, and Nintendo's Animal Crossing New Horizons. There was a wedding ceremony held in that game. Minecraft has always been used in various ways like this. I found out a month or so ago that there is a Minecraft world that's the pass around and like like emails and whatnot, and it's a place for reporters in oppressed the countries to be able to upload the report into a Minecraft book in the world. So it's a Minecraft library for reporters and bloggers and whatnot from those oppressed countries. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really a very creative use of that platform, I have to say.
And now there is Minecraft Education Edition, which is evidently a tool for distance learning to connect educators and students in virtual classrooms.
Who would have thought of something like that?
And the article mentions Facebook Horizon, which is obviously not out yet.
Coming soon. Coming soon. I got a call from Chad, and he said, wait for that email. It's coming.
Yeah. So, what this has not mentioned in the article, which I only just now actually read in its entirety, is not mentioning AltSpace. It's not mentioning VR chat. It's not mentioning Rec Room. It's not mentioning all of the established virtual worlds for platforms in VR.
Well, let's just give them the benefit of the doubt and say that since they are sort of unregulated areas, it's sort of like directing people to the dark web. So,
well, well, AltSpace isn't really that, but the VR chat could be, yes.
Right, exactly. And so, for the uninitiated or for the people that have no clue what they're getting into, I don't know that I'd go around telling my father about VR chat or somebody, that was new to VR or young or mostly anybody, But yes, people are still laboring under the illusion that there is no social activity because these places are not predominantly displayed for various reasons, So, but yeah, we understand that these platforms exist and they're just going to get better. But of course, it's going to take a giant like Facebook or Apple to create the equivalent of an oasis where everybody sort of knows where to go.
Yep. And they're not quite there yet, but that's what Facebook is working on with Horizon.
Right.
And later on, we'll get to another thing that is aiming at an oasis also. But for now, let's move to Mind Maze. Uses VR and neuroscience to retrain the brain after strokes. I got this from The Guardian, and it is talking about Tej Tadi, and I may be mispronouncing his name, but he is the founder of the medical startup Mind Maze, and he is gamifying rehabilitation for stroke survivors. So he is using the virtual reality and neuroscience to repair broken connections in the brain and retrain the body to move after a stroke. The article says it has also been proven to alleviate symptoms of phantom pain in amputees. So,
okay.
The article points out that because there's such a short window after a stroke when the brain can bounce back, starting treatment early is critical. MindMotion Pro, one of their products that can be used in hospital just 4 days after a brain injury, and studies found the training intensity of stroke patients using the device almost doubled in the first 10 sessions. Because, let's face it, the virtual reality is engaging. It pulls you in and you want to do more of it, so
right.
And you get, you forget to a degree where you really are. And there have been other studies showing that, when you are in VR, you're like paying a little bit less attention to your physical body. So there's a built-in pain reduction.
Mm-hmm.
You're just by using it because you aren't paying attention to a lot of the signals coming from your physical body because you are so engrossed in the virtual world.
Right.
Which leads to, in physical therapy, going longer, going harder, and that's getting more benefit out of it.
as anyone who has played any sort of physically taxing game in virtual reality knows, that exercise takes a lot of willpower and effort, whereas playing a game in virtual reality,
Right. That's just fun.
it's fun, exactly, while you're doing the same thing and you're using the same muscles, sweating, burning calories, doing all of these things. But it's like playing tennis. If you play tennis, you're playing a game. If
Right.
you're running around and lifting weights, you're exercising. And there's a
Right.
very big difference between the
Yeah.
two.
Yeah. And it points out that strokes are also devastating long term, and studies found many patients had trouble motivating themselves once they were out of the hospital.
Right.
They have a portable Mind Motion Go device where they can start playing at home in just 5 minutes. The clinical research found that the patients patients were motivated by the variety of the goal-oriented games, and they practiced up to 15 times more therapeutic exercises compared to traditional methods.
Of course.
Yeah,
If you were told to just do something repetitive and it bores the heck out of you and all you realize is how difficult it is, that's one thing. But if you're given a goal and you're given incentives and you're immersed in this world where you're doing it, then, like you said, number one, you lose track of the fact that it's your body that's not reacting the way that you want. And secondly, you're motivated to continue, which I'm sure rewires the brain.
right. Well, um, speaking of that, almost anything rewires the brain.
Right.
It's extremely plastic.
Yes.
You know, if I spend 2 days doing nothing and moping, my brain is rewired. If I then spend the next couple of days going out on walks and playing with my dog, my brain is rewired.
Right.
You know?
Neuroplasticity, as they like to
Yeah,
call it.
yeah,
Well, but yeah, exactly. Change what you're having for dinner and watch your day change. It's
right, right. So by 2016, his startup was evidently valued at 1 billion, and the VR technology was making its way into hospitals across Europe and Asia, and his inpatient devices like the MindMotion Pro and MindMotion Go have already helped more than 1,300 patients. He received FDA approval in 2017 and is now preparing to bring it to the U.S., where, according to the article, strokes are the 5th leading cause of death. Also, they recently acquired Neuromotor Innovations, a company that also utilizes game therapy as a complementary treatment for stroke patients. So, this is groundbreaking, some vital stuff. And it has here a picture of it. MindMotion Go works, and it covers the patients so they can complete unified tasks in virtual environments, and it looks like it's basically using a Kinect sensor, and on the screen, that's not entirely, and a big motion for hand tracking. That's MindMotion Go, evidently.
Mm-hmm.
If that's all it is, that's not exactly virtual reality. I'm guessing there's a headset involved somewhere too, but I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it's just virtual environments and not virtual reality. Either way,
it's a usage, right?
Yeah.
It's another usage that pushes us. Like I said before, remember, they use the term virtual for anything that uses a computer to relay the
I read
information.
all the articles before just starting our podcast, so but it's still, is innovative use of the technology, and I know virtual reality, actual virtual reality, can be used in a similar way. So.
I mean, actual virtual reality as opposed to virtual reality, which is in itself is an excellent game. So.
Yeah, something like that. All right, now on to the Oasis again. XR Mova headset coming out.
Interesting, huh? XR Mova. That is the Chinese headset
Yeah,
developed by their Netflix,
yeah,
their
or
equivalent of Netflix.
whatever I believe it's called, right?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that they're going for the 4K as well as HP going for the 4K.
Right.
Um, but those really seem more media oriented
Yeah,
than game oriented.
yeah. And I find it interesting that I think that they were calling the social environment that they're going to be using Oasis.
Yeah. Well, gee, they are very, very original. That's
I
all I
know,
can say. I would have never come up with that name ever in a million
right?
years. And whoever did should patent it. Um,
It comes in white and orange, and white and orange.
so they're going with the Google colors.
Yeah. The the, the XRspace Mova actually is the yeah. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, it's a
yeah,
great idea. It shows once
yeah.
again.
Mova is
It,
a virtual reality device, and Manova for the software or something. No, so that's the world. Is the Manova is the world, right?
but
Manova is their social VR platform, which is their version of the Oasis.
exactly. However, like we said, it's really more based around media than it is based around gameplay.
Right.
So it's more about sharing experience. I I guess they don't get out to the movies much. I don't know. I really don't, but it doesn't seem like something that's blowing my mind over here anyway.
It says here, I'm on the website here. Have fun with friends at home. Enjoy your personal cinema or work together in a dedicated meeting room. Soak in good vibes of a busy city center. Meet new friends in the club or challenge each other with mini games. So it sounds like it's actually kind of like Sansar,
Yeah.
Second Life, and Sansar. No,
Well, yeah, but not maybe not quite as intricate as Second Life.
right. Right. So, um, one of the interesting things about it, if I remember right, it's supposed to have 5G built in. Yes, the 5G, LTE, and Wi-Fi. It's using the Snapdragon 845, which is the generation newer than was in the Quest, I believe. 6 gigabytes of RAM, but two cameras. That's the part that's a little, to me,
Once
is
again, media.
two-handed. Has two cameras, and it doesn't come with any controllers, just your own hand. That said, if you look at the pictures on the website, which has got a side-on view, the the cameras are like pointing down like that. So it's got a foot is obviously aimed at the hands.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and like I said, more media oriented. I don't think it's a
yeah,
gaming platform as much as a
yeah,
media platform.
yeah. It's probably not quite as gaming oriented as the Quest. It does have a more powerful processor in
Yeah.
theory, um, and
Doesn't have Carmack.
controllers for it as well. The controllers kind of actually it looks like the Oculus Go controllers.
Hmm.
So ones, they
Media.
you know,
Everything keeps coming back to media, Josh. Everything just keeps coming back.
yeah, I know. I agree. So it's it's always good to see more the competition in the industry. I don't know that this will overtake or even catch up with the Quest. I have a feeling it won't. Um, Unreal and Tilt 5 look much more appealing to me than this. Granted, this isn't an AR headset; it's a VR headset, but you know, um,
Right.
I'd rather save up and get the Unreal than this personally. But and actually, looking at the image, it looks like there are three cameras, one on the left eye and then two on the right eye. So one of those might be like in a depth sensing or whatever. So, but
Once again, once you get down to a Go type controller, and once you get down to just focusing on hands, and once you're not using at least 6 cameras, even the 4 cameras is limiting yourself. Um, too many flaws to start investing in something that hasn't learned its lesson and just got to market too quick.
and this was started by one of the co-founders of Vive, I believe. So
Cho, I think, wasn't it
sounds
David
like
Cho?
still kind of stuck in the same, uh,
Vibe mentality, yeah.
higher end Vive mentality. Yeah.
Well, and I have 2 Vives, and they were good. They really are excellent. The only thing is they never really, I don't know what they did with it. They've never,
Right.
Quest has done more in 1 year than Vive has done since it started.
Right.
So,
Yeah. So, and this new Mova headset, it does look cool. It honestly, it looks a little bit cooler than the Quest, but also I think it's going to be 600, not 400 like the Quest is. That's on
mm,
me.
well, like the Quest was originally, I've been seeing the Quest at 650
Oh
advertised on
yeah.
Amazon. So,
If you are getting a brand new Quest from Oculus, from Amazon, whatever, and it's not a resold one, the 400 is the base price. If you're
right.
getting um, a third-party reseller, it could be 600, 800, who knows?
Whatever the market will allow. How bad
Right,
do you want one?
right. So, but yeah, I mean, I wish them luck. Hopefully, it turns out to be better than we are expecting, because it is using that newer and faster processor. I mean, technically, one camera is all that you need for doing accurate slam. I mean, there was a demo back in the day for using, doing uh, slam-based score tracking with the Gear VR, just using the one camera that the phone has.
Right.
It was a little bit laggy and whatnot, but because the phone's also doing a whole bunch of other things at the same time. But in a device like this, it could be enough. It could be fast enough that even though it's only got the two main the cameras and the one infrared or whatever camera, it could be enough to allow it to process fast enough so that when you turn, it's not a moment of, oh, I don't know where I am, and it just it catches up so fast enough that you don't notice. I
Right.
don't know.
I
I
don't
haven't
know.
done that yet. So
We'll find out, I
yep,
suppose.
yep, we will find out when we start seeing reviews of it on YouTube.
Then we'll get all the mixed reviews,
Unless
and then
you
we'll
want to
find out.
get me a demo unit, or I mean, so that would be awesome. Or send us a demo unit. We'll test it. We'll review it.
Absolutely, not a problem. And if they'd like to send us any of those haptic vests, just for us
Oh
to,
yeah, yeah.
but we'd
Where
like that in a pair so we could both review it.
once he actually gets it.
And haptic gloves would be good too. And any haptic devices you would like to send us, we won't return. We promise.
Unless you tell us that we have to, in which case we will do so reluctantly.
Very reluctantly, but we will do so.
Hey,
Anything else on the good news?
that wraps up all the good news and the bad good news and the no good news.
And just remember the Apple rumor because we keep seeing more and more pictures of what looks like a very refined Apple glass, which
Oh,
could be something spectacular.
yeah.
And also,
Um, if that does come out and it is subsidized in the U.S. on the carriers, I might end up with one and switching to the iPhone, or to connecting it to one of our iPads or whatever.
well, the
So
fact that they have the 499 and they keep advertising the A13 Bionic chip is in there,
I,
and these glasses are going to be under 500. You're looking at that under $1,000 really lust for AR headset, which is going to make Nreal and Tilt 5 and all the others go to the side, like the Go and the Gear. And
but don't get me wrong, I would love to have the Unreal because that goes with an Android headset.
right.
But they probably are not going to be able to be subsidized by the carriers. Apple could be if they want to go that way. They have the clout to say, "Hey Verizon, hey T-Mobile, hey Sprint, hey AT&T, carry it."
And they don't even have to do that. They have their own internal structure where they could give you the credit. And not only that, they can also offer it to you at a loss, like Microsoft did with the original Xbox and Sony did with the PlayStation.
Right. Well, or as the Gear VR did too. The Samsung with the Gear VR, they gave away a lot of the Gear VR headsets.
Right. And I'm sure the Quest was
As
released way below cost.
a promo offer.
Right. So yeah, I know it's all looking rosy for VR right now. I have to say it's really and also Coaster Combat coming to the Quest.
Yep, yep. I don't think we have a date for that though, do we?
No, but Ramarka seems pretty excited about it, and being that he's running his own little arcade over there,
Okay.
I would think that he's giving us a little heads up as to what's coming our way.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe he'll be here Thursday. You never know.
Chad knows. Only Chad knows.
And on that note, it is time to say goodbye, sign off, and let the recording end so that I can download it and then spend the rest of the day editing it.
Sounds like fun.
Yes. Remember, like, subscribe, compel your friends to like and subscribe.
I like that. Compel. Compulsion is the word of the day, folks. Compulsion. Have a good
Wait,
one.
does
What?
that mean that we have to be like in the Pee-wee's the clubhouse and go whatever the word of the day is said?
No.
Oh, okay. Bye.
Bye. Yee.